There's a difference between being misunderstood and being exposed. And right now, Brittney Griner is being exposed. For years, she was the WNBA's untouchable poster child, the symbol of activism, strength, and unapologetic pride. The media told you she was a hero. The league told you she was the future. And most of us, we bought it. But in the last few months, hell, even weeks, we've seen that image crack. Not in some massive scandal. No, that would have been too clean. Instead, what we're watching is a slow-motion implosion. Because when you actually listen, when you really listen to what she's been saying lately, the smugness, the contradictions, the total lack of self-awareness, it's undeniable. This isn't about a bad day. This is about a pattern. About a star who got so comfortable being praised that she forgot how to be real. And what's worse? The league is still trying to pretend everything's fine, like we can't hear the clips, see the attitude, feel the energy shift. So today we're breaking it down. 10 moments that show exactly how Brittney Griner's carefully constructed image is collapsing under the weight of her own ego. You don't have to hate her to see the truth, but you do have to stop lying to yourself about what's happening. Because this is not what leadership looks like.
Passionate Cat Engelbert. Imagine the irony. I guess the cat has the cat's tongue. Normally, the WNBA is rapid in their response to allegations of mythical racism. Normally, the dump divers in the WNBA, they are proud to volunteer their time fighting this horrifying plague on society. Private First Class Angel Reese, Lieutenant Natasha Cloud, Sergeant A.J. Wilson. But my name is Asia! Brigadier General Bob Griner, Honorary Captain.
Let's start with the shot that told us everything. Brittney mocking RG3 over his marriage, insinuating, on camera, that he's somehow less of a black man because of who he chose to marry. That's not bold. That's bigotry hiding behind a smug smile. And the wildest part? The silence. No pushback from the league. No PR apology. Not even a lazy Instagram Notes app post. We've seen WNBA players get grilled for so much less. Hell, one poorly worded tweet can get a player blackballed. But Griner? She throws around cultural insults like confetti and gets a free pass. Why? Because she's a brand. Not a teammate. Not a leader. A brand. Protected. Untouchable. This wasn't just disrespectful. It was strategic. Because she knew nobody would call her out. But the audience, the fans, we're not stupid. We remember. And it's this kind of comment that starts to stick. It becomes the first crack. And once you see that first crack, you start noticing all the others.
WNBA dump. They are all led by their captain, the diva of dump divas herself, Cat Engelbert. Normally, all it takes is a false accusation, and the entirety of the WNBA is ready to combat mythical racism. They put down the miniature ball, they utilize their weapon of choice, social media, and they portray themselves as the ultimate victim. But over a week has passed since Brittney Griner appeared to say a racial slur towards Caitlin Clark, and for some reason...
Let's talk about that press moment. Because this is where Griner went from being rude to being reckless. The reporter wasn't even aggressive. She asked a legit question, one any player with a functioning media brain could have answered respectfully. But Griner didn't just shut it down. She belittled it. She smirked. She waved it off. And again, no one said a word. What's ironic is that Griner built her brand on being the voice of the voiceless. But now, she's got nothing to say unless it's scripted or self-serving. The moment she's challenged, the mask slips, and what we see underneath isn't pretty. She's not edgy. She's not clever. She's a player who has gotten so used to softball interviews that the second she faces real accountability, she folds. And the fans feel that. The tension, the awkwardness, it lingers. You watch that clip and you realize this isn't a woman who wants to lead. This is someone who wants to be worshipped. There's a difference, and it's becoming harder and harder to ignore.
I wonder why. As you guys know, I have never liked rules, mainly because there are too many rules. In most cases, rules are implemented under the guise of safety. But the reality is, rules are mostly implemented as a form of control, or as a way to get your money. For example, I'm sure you've been driving through an unfamiliar town before. You're cruising down the highway at 55 miles an hour.
This is the hypocrisy clip. The one that people keep reposting with the caption, "Double standards much?" Because it's not just what Griner says, it's what she gets away with. If a bench warmer or 12th pick rookie said half the stuff she did, mocked reporters, shaded other athletes, openly clowned WNBA campaigns, they'd be done. The league would investigate, ESPN would drop 4 think pieces, and Twitter would eat them alive. But Griner? Nothing. Protected, coddled, and people are starting to notice. The comments under these videos aren't, "Wow, she's so real." They're, "How is she still allowed to play?" That's a major shift, because when the fans start calling out favoritism, you've already lost the room. The WNBA wants equality, fairness, no space for hate, remember? Well, what happens when the hate is coming from inside the house, and nobody wants to check the queen? That's not a league, that's a personality cult, and the cracks are getting bigger.
Oh, about all this stuff that's taking place.
He actually said those words.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to you, I haven't heard that.
So, okay, Rob,
What a crappy thing to say.
Can you find this clip where Ryan Clark says, how would he know he's married to a white girl? Is that the clip, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Okay, play this clip. Watch this, Vinny.
We moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person, and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate, because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as...
This one hit different, because this wasn't just tone deaf, it was a middle finger to the entire league's core values. The No Space for Hate campaign wasn't just a slogan, it was their thing. The WNBA rolled it out with banners, hashtags, interviews. It was a full-blown push for unity and accountability. And here comes Griner, chuckling like it's a joke. You don't accidentally undermine a league-wide campaign. You do that when you think you're above it. And honestly, she might be right. Because the league didn't clap back, didn't distance themselves, didn't clarify or condemn. They just moved on. Which means the message is clear. If you're famous enough, you can mock whatever values you want. And now we're in dangerous territory. Because the people who were proud of this league for standing for something, they're watching this unfold like, wait, this is who you protect? What Griner did here wasn't edgy, it was selfish. And it might have been the turning point where people stopped cheering and started side-eyeing.
Teammates, Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard
Rob,
foul.
Is this the one
That's
where he says
that's rivalry. That's not
RG3 is
hate.
married to a
And
white
so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, it now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero.
This is where things stop feeling like coincidence and start looking like corruption. We've seen the league react fast, almost aggressively, when a rookie steps out of line. An Instagram comment? Fined. A political opinion? Suspended. A heated moment during a post-game interview? Expect a conduct review by morning. But Brittney Griner? She laughs at league campaigns, throws shade at media, disrespects other athletes, and the WNBA acts like they didn't even notice. The hypocrisy is disgusting, and the fans feel it. You can't preach accountability while letting your top star run around like she's above the rules. That's not how you build trust. That's how you build resentment. Every time Griner gets away with it, it sends a message. If you're marketable enough, you're untouchable. That's not leadership. That's favoritism. And in a league that already struggles with mainstream credibility, protecting the wrong people could cost them everything. It's not about canceling Brittney, it's about leveling the damn playing field. And if the WNBA can't even do that internally, what makes you think fans are going to take them seriously?
At his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom.
But when you look at it, to go through,
I think Angel Wilson
this continues
is the face of the league. Angel Wilson,
who's the face of the league?
He said Angel Reese.
Is the face of the league?
Asia Wilson.
Yeah, you can pause that.
Yeah.
RG3 responds back. RG3 responds back and says, "What is that all about?" To Ryan Clark's credit, he apologizes about this.
This clip is painful, and not for the reasons you'd think. Because here we are, watching fans literally beg for connection. A smile, a word, a wink, anything. And Brittney just stares, scrolls, rolls her eyes. The silence is deafening. Once upon a time, Griner was magnetic. Her energy pulled people in. You rooted for her. Even if you didn't agree with her stances, you respected her courage. But now, it's like she resents the spotlight she built. It's more than awkward, it's arrogant. Like she's grown bored of being famous, bored of engaging, bored of giving even a shred of warmth to the people who made her a star. And this isn't a one-off, it's a pattern. Every live stream, every public appearance, same blank stare, same fake laugh, same awkward silence. It's like she's daring people to call her out, testing how long she can keep treating fans like background noise before someone finally says, enough. This is the slow death of a public persona. And the WNBA better realize that if Brittney won't talk to her fans, the fans will talk to each other. And when that happens, no media team can save you.
I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
Or the tick and tap fouls we were talking about earlier today.
Pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this with Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She says, this is from Brittney. Every time.
Okay, let's talk about that elephant in the room. You hear it, everyone hears it, but nobody says anything. Griner's voice has changed, radically. Whether it's medical, hormonal, or something else, we don't know. And honestly, that part isn't even the issue. The issue is the silence. No statement, no clarification, no transparency. Instead, the WNBA acts like nothing's changed while fans online are spiraling into conspiracies, jokes, and real questions. Let's be clear. Brittney doesn't owe the public an explanation for her personal health. But when the change is this dramatic, and she's also the face of the league, refusing to acknowledge it just makes it worse. This isn't about voice, it's about trust. When your star is visibly different and everyone pretends not to notice, it makes people feel lied to. And once fans feel that way, you don't get them back. The league could have handled this with grace. Even a 30-second video saying, "Here's where I'm at, thanks for supporting me." Boom, done. Instead, they chose confusion. And confusion breeds chaos. And chaos? That's exactly what you're seeing in the next clip.
Admit this, there's a certain passion and emotion that exists. What are we, 3 games in? Do you think any NBA player even cares about any of these games before, let's say, March? Be honest, Jason, do any of these NBA players currently have any type of anger or emotion towards anything related to the games in this current culture and landscape of the NBA?
You're accurate. You're accurate. I'm going to give the men a defense. They play 82 games. The women play.
Let's not sugarcoat it. It's weird. Every new appearance is more awkward than the last. From IG lives with no eye contact, to bizarre audio delays, to cryptic comments that make no sense. This isn't the confident Griner we once saw slam dunking and slamming down interviews. This is someone unraveling in plain sight. And the fans? They're uncomfortable. They're confused. They're concerned. But nobody in the league will say a word, because they know if they break that wall, even a little, it opens the floodgates. So they let her twist, alone, unchecked, and worse, they let us twist with her. That's the part that stings. Because if Brittney is going through something, the league should step in, support her, offer help, show leadership. But if she's not, and this is just who she is now, then they've got an even bigger problem. Either way, ignoring it is no longer an option. And as we head into the final 2 clips, the tension hits a boiling point.
You'd have more people caring. Steve, I'm going to play you one more Brittney Griner clip. This is her from the game against the Indiana Fever. The Atlanta Dream played the Fever back-to-back, and then there was this controversy about a foul that was called on Brittney Griner and whether or not she said, white girl trash or, effing white girls. The call was effing trash. Did you catch any of this? And yeah. I've seen people say, look, she's saying whack call, not white girls. Anyway, your thoughts?
This is where the dam breaks, because when your own fans start demanding intervention, you've already lost control of the narrative. And don't get it twisted, these aren't haters. These are day one Griner supporters. People who cried when she came home from Russia. People who bought her jerseys. Who defended her on every comment section. Now, they're begging someone, anyone, to say the quiet part out loud. This isn't working. This isn't healthy. This isn't the star they once believed in. And if the WNBA won't step in, the fans will step away. Because nobody wants to feel gaslit. And that's exactly what this silence feels like. Every awkward clip, every viral TikTok, every confused reaction, it's a giant neon sign that says, something's wrong. And if the league keeps pretending it's fine, they're not just failing Brittney, they're failing the entire WNBA.
Regardless of what she said, Jason, don't athletes in the heat of battle say a lot of things? A lot of things they may not mean, a lot of things that may be out of bounds, many things that aren't politically correct. I would say, look, she got heated. She has to understand the cameras are on her. I think a little bit too much is being made of this, but with the admittance, if that was a white player who said the opposite things about a black player, the usual suspects would have their 10,000 word think pieces and smear campaigns ready to go. That I will admit.
Let's end this with the truth. The hard, ugly, undeniable truth. If this was anyone else, they'd be gone. Not just reprimanded, gone. And that's the biggest red flag of all. Because what does it say about a league that lets its biggest star operate by a completely different set of rules? It says the quiet part out loud. They're scared. Scared to lose a face. Scared to lose the spotlight. But they've already lost something bigger, their integrity. Brittney Griner's collapse isn't just about her. It's about the system that enabled her. The silence that protected her. The brand that replaced the person. She could still turn this around. She could speak. She could own it. She could lead again. But if she doesn't, then this collapse isn't tragic. It's earned. And the league? They'll have to decide whether to follow her down or finally stand up for the values they claim to hold.